Hello and welcome to my results video. This is video number 5 of the original videos running through my experience as a patient on the new drugs of ibrutinib and venetoclax as a combination for CLL as a first-time therapy. Can I start the video by paying tribute to Dr. Gribben and to his team at the London Clinic, who were absolutely fantastic. And indeed, this video is really John's idea, where he said, wouldn't it be great to run through the results some months after treatment? As you can see from the change in my clothing, this video is being recorded several months after the other videos. And this, of course, is the norm type situation here when you have these types of fixed term therapy. So just to reiterate, I was one of the first people in Europe to have the opportunity to have, as a first-line treatment for CLL, the combination of ibrutinib and venetoclax as a fixed-term therapy. These were authorized by the regulatory authorities here in August of 2022, and I started treatment in September of 2022. So very recently in that context. For me, it was a 15-month duration of I plus V, as the medics would call it. So I being ibrutinib, V being venetoclax. I started with 3 months on ibrutinib, and then I had 12 months on the combination of ibrutinib and venetoclax. And I finished my treatment in December of 2023, and now have been, at this time of recording, which is June of 2024, off treatment for 6 months. Now, this is the norm to sort of see what the results of the treatment are some months after you finish. And therefore, I've had a full, what's called restaging in the medical parlance. So I've had a full body PET scan, which has showed a complete metabolic response, and a bone marrow biopsy, which has shown that I am in complete remission. I am MRD negative, which means minimum residual disease negative. And also I am clear on the 4-factor test that they do for blood in terms of that sort of context. So this, in the words of my doctor, John, is the best possible circumstance we could have at this stage. So all good news, all good news. I want to just do a quick aside and talk a little bit about the bone marrow test, if I may do, on this video. Because I know a lot of people are a little concerned about the bone marrow test, and I've had both sedation and I've had it as local as well. Now, when I was sedated, I was in the point of originally being diagnosed, so I didn't know too much about the whole situation. That's what the recommendation was, and it worked really, really great. But remember, the bone marrow test is really only a 5 to 10 minute long procedure, so getting a full general is a bit sort of heavy duty, I think, in my opinion, in that sort of context. And when the restaging was mentioned to me, I decided I'd go for a local. 2 reasons really. Number one, to avoid having to go through a general again. But secondly, and more importantly, by having the local, I could actually have the bone marrow and the PET scan done on the same day, which saved time and seemed a much more appropriate scenario for me anyway. Now, the test was a little uncomfortable, I won't deny that, but it was perfectly manageable. And of course, by having had both the bone marrow and the PET scan, I have good confidence that my remission is A, real, and B, is hopefully for me going to be long-standing. When I think back to the period in 2022 when I was being diagnosed, and you go through that whole situation, I'm sure everyone watching this video has been through their own personal journey around that sort of stuff. I remember the fear. I remember the fear of the unknown. I remember my concern as to how I would tolerate the side effects and whether I'd tolerate the 2 drugs. And the London Clinic were really good about all of this. I was given the opportunity to have some therapy. I took that opportunity up. I would strongly recommend it to patients who are in the same situation as I was at that stage. And what's interesting also is that in the months after I've been off treatment, I've continued with the therapy, and actually that has also been extremely beneficial and helpful to me. So big thank you to my therapist, who I'm sure will be watching this video at some stage. Thank you so much for that, Emily. Now, moving swiftly on in terms of this scenario. So I'm now off treatment for 6 months. It's great to be back in crowds. I've just been to a rock concert with 80,000 people. Fantastic. been to a major sporting event. I've continued to do traveling and very much living a normal life in the broadest possible sense. I do feel better off the drugs. I think a lot of what I've been saying during the course of the videos is that, look, hey, you can get to feeling better than 95% of the regular population if you are careful around the side effects for these drugs. But there's no question when you are off the drugs, you do feel that much better. But I am, in the words of my doctor, in a rehab year. So I'm getting fit, I'm losing weight, starting to really continue to enjoy life, and now focusing very much on the future. And coming to the future, I have great confidence that as and when the cancer returns, as it surely will, unfortunately, it's the nature of the disease, that there will be treatment options available for me in terms of that sort of particular kind of context. One final point, the CLL Society has been very good as well. They're a great source of information, and you get regular updates from me. I get weekly updates in terms of that sort of particular scenario, and they're very good around, the new drugs that are coming along. So it gives you that warm, gooey feeling as a patient, I suspect, that things are moving. And this is now an area in terms of medical research which, in my opinion, is moving at great pace, and long may that continue. So as I bring these videos to a close, I just want to once again thank my medical professional John and the team at the London Clinic. I want to thank my tech guru, Seb, who has been absolutely superb during the course of this scenario. I wouldn't have been able to do this without him. A big thank you to my wife, Suzanne, and to all the family who've been really, really supportive around all of this sort of piece. I will record some more videos as time goes by, I hope, and I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but I hope there'll be some years in the future. But please do, if you know someone who is particularly going on to these drugs, I hope that these videos will be of some benefit, and I'd encourage them to subscribe to this channel so that they do get the content as and when we upload it. On a final note, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos, and to remember that CLL, it's a journey, not a destination.